Gentlemen, I am so incredibly excited about where we're going in a second. First, I gotta get ready though. So here's the deal. Today, we are gonna go do something that I have been waiting to do literally since I became an entrepreneur. I've never done this before. When you start a business, when you start a brand, even if you're direct to consumer and you're selling online and it's more profitable and it's easier and all that, because it is, there's still that part of you that just wants like the validation of being able to walk into a store and grab it. Nordstrom Rack. I am so excited. I don't know where it is. It could be like in the front of the store, like at a table, or it could be in like the men's section. Hey! Let's go in, check it out. Gentlemen, I'm so excited. So this is a big moment for me. I've never had a product in retail, and so this right here, check it out. Right, you've got the body washes, you've also got the scrubber, and then over here, look at this, our official level 1 system in a sexy ass kit. Like seriously, you gotta admit, this kit, it is sexy. Time to shop.
I don't know if you know Raj that works here.
Yeah.
He was telling me about you yesterday.
Really? So Raj saw it?
He was like, this guy that shops here,
Yeah.
this is his line.
This is
He's
it.
like, he works out of this gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first, I think it's the first we got of it.
It is. We just basically shipped everything out to you guys, and so I was waiting for it to come into Kennesaw, and so yesterday I finally got the call. I was like, it's in. I'm like, okay, cool. And so today I was looking, I was over there, I'm like, shit, it's not here. And I'm like, no. Well, this is awesome. But yeah, now I gotta buy it all, because
Make sure you tag us too.
Tag us.
Yeah.
All right.
We have a page. He can tell you what it is.
Okay, cool. This is great. I love it.
It must be amazing to like be able to walk in.
That's it. That's
to
what I was.
another place and see it on the shelf.
That's what I was like. Even though like, you know, it's a fairly big company, but the thing that's so like amazing about it is like, even though like, you know, direct to consumer, like you can sell a lot and this and that, there's just something like, I don't know, almost like validating, being able to like go into a store that's like Nordstrom Rack, see it on the shelf, grab it and buy it. Like that's like, this is the first time I've ever been able to like do that. And so it's kind of surreal. Yeah. This is amazing. Yep. Well, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm sorry for all of the customers that were gonna buy it. They'll have to go to another store. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. All right. What's the damage? Oh my God, I'm kidding. Matthew. Enjoy, hold on, I'm gonna give you some body wash too. Does anybody else have a guy that they have to shop for? Anybody have a guy in their life?
I do.
You do? Here. You can have that. Anybody else? Anybody else? Here. No, you're welcome. And you're welcome. Cool. Anybody else have a guy? There you go. Give him that. It's Tiege Hanley. It's Tiege Hanley. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? You got it? All right. We got. So I'm watching this video. I'm editing it, and then I see this dude come up and look in the cart. I didn't even notice him while he was there, and I showed my wife, and she's like, "You didn't give him one?" I'm like, "He didn't ask for one." And she's like, "People are gonna eat you alive because poor Homer." I'm like, dude, he should have got up in there and like taken one or asked for one, but he didn't. So I'm sorry. If I ever see him again, I promise I'll buy him Tiege. He needs it. There we go.
Oh, can I get one?
We've got one left of these, and that's it. Okay, here you go. You were watching me film.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. All right. Thank you, everybody. And that's how you give away Tiege Hanley, Nordstrom Rack. Thanks, guys. That was one of the most fun things I've ever done. Now let's go back to the office and talk a little bit more about it. So that was one of the coolest things I've ever done, if I'm being honest. That was amazing. Wow. It was awesome. Anyway, I want to talk real quick about kind of why this is important for us as a brand and a company, what the potential risk is, and a little bit more just about the whole retail versus DTC or direct to consumer. It's no secret, or it shouldn't be a secret, that you're going to make more money when you sell direct to the consumer. You watch any Shark Tank episode, right? They're going to say, where did the sales come from? If it's retail, that's one thing. But if it's direct to consumer, that's where the margin is, honestly. Because when you buy something, say it's a ball powder, right? I buy this ball powder, I make it for $5. All right, if I'm gonna sell it end unit to the consumer, $20, I'm gonna basically make $15, right? Now, of course, there are a lot of other costs and all sorts of things associated with that, but generally speaking, my margins are great. I'm gonna make a lot of money if I'm selling this directly to you, if you are coming to .com, PeteandPager.com or tshanley.com or whatever. If you're gonna go retail, the retailer's like, yeah, sure, like bring it in. It's basically a wholesale situation where I'm gonna sell this to them for 10, meaning instead of $15, I'm making $5. They then are gonna make $10. You see how it works? And so you really need to understand that you're gonna make a lot more money per unit when you go into retail. Now, everybody's like, why would you do that? Well, there are a few reasons. Number one, marketing is the hardest component to starting a business, growing a business, or selling stuff. That's the piece of the puzzle that you have to figure out. If you don't, you literally are never gonna sell any. And so when you go onto a platform like Amazon, or which is essentially kind of like a wholesale situation as well, because Amazon's gonna take their big percentage and then you're gonna have to pay shipping and all sorts of other fees, and you're gonna make some percentage, right? And typically it's gonna be around that same percentage as you're gonna make if you were gonna sell it to a place like Nordstrom Rack. A little bit more. But anyway, why would you want to do this? Well, the answer is eyeballs and distribution. Two things that we got to unpack a little bit. So eyeballs, what does this mean? It means that if you are going to be selling .com, it's responsible, or I should say, you are responsible for getting all the traffic, doing all the marketing, figuring out how to get people to that website in order to see your product, to buy your product, to enjoy your product. Well, when you go into a brick and mortar, or you've got something like an Amazon, because Amazon is a huge shopping platform with zillions of eyeballs every single day, you know that when somebody comes into a Target or one of these other stores like a Costco or a Nordstrom Rack or wherever you're selling, you know that there are going to be a lot of people coming in the door. They're going to be taking a look at your product, or you're increasing the likelihood of people that didn't know about your product can come and buy your product, right? And so it's basically like not free sales, but it's sales that you're not having to drive traffic to. That is the biggest and the hardest thing when it comes to starting a business or having an online business, and that is traffic. And as things have gotten more competitive, as the cost of advertising and marketing has gotten more expensive, it's gotten more challenging, and your profit margin has decreased selling online. But this is an interesting situation. So we have a guy that we hired recently. His name is Pete at Tiege Hanley, and his job, his only job, is to get us indoors, right? Meaning like brick and mortar stores. And he basically is a rock star. And the thing that we're gonna have to figure out is, okay, we've got a lot of these opportunities that are gonna be coming up. A lot of companies are gonna be interested in having Tiege Hanley now because he's basically put together an incredible pitch. We've got incredible products, and now we've got these sexy retail packages. That was one of the big issues with Tiege Hanley. If we're selling a kit, you know, our box that it comes in, the shipping box, it's not very interesting. All right, it's not very sexy. You can't see what's in it. You got to be able to see what's in it. All right, and the kitting or the systemization of Tiege Hanley, this is something that is a bit more provocative and a bit more alluring. And so when you see the package like you just saw on the shelf, it pops, it jumps out at you. You're like, wow, that looks cool. What is it? You know, you've got to be able to paint the story and tell the consumer walking by in a quick second or two or three what is in your product or what it is, right? If you just go to a store or you just go to a shelf and you just see a product, you know, you're not going to know necessarily what it is. You've got to read, you've got to do whatever. So it's really critical that you have incredible retail packaging so that the consumer sees your product, decides, okay, maybe I'm going to look into it or investigate this a little bit more, and then they buy your product. Well, one of Tiege Hanley's superpowers is packaging. And the reason is because my partner, Kelly Thornton, that's what his business was basically prior to Tiege Hanley. He had a company. Its job was basically to create and design a lot of the retail packaging and the packaging you're going to see when you're going to a store to check out for a lot of men's brands. All right? He had a big business. He was doing these installs and these programs for like really big CPG companies like Unilever, right? And so he understands that world. And so he is like a savant when it comes to packaging. He's got an incredible eye. He's got and understands what it needs to be in order to basically be something that attracts people to buy it. Well, something else that you have to understand is that when a company like a Target or a Home Goods or whoever you're going to places an order, the order is big. So even though your margin is bigger on selling individually, think about it like this. If you've got 1,000 of these, how many times, how expensive is it going to be to sell 1,000 ball powders? All right, so let's do the math. If you sell 1,000 ball powders and your profit is $15, all right, basically that is $15,000 if you sell 1,000 of these. How much marketing, how much spend, how much awareness, how much like Facebook ads and Instagram this and pre-roll that and Google shopping ads are you going to have to run to sell 1,000 of these to make that $15,000? But think about it like this. All right, you're going to have to spend a lot. That's the answer to the question that I was asking. It was kind of rhetorical. But then, say for instance, one of these big companies that you're in terms of big box retailer, places a purchase order. They're not placing a purchase order just for the store that I was in. They're placing it nationwide. How many of these stores, how many are going to basically be shipped the product and then it's going to be distributed and then you are going to have a lot of your product in a lot of these stores, increasing the likelihood that somebody is going to potentially, hopefully buy it, try it, use it, love it, and all that good stuff. It sells through, boom, they place another one. How much time or energy has gone into you basically making the money? And the answer is, well, you've got to spend the time, the money, the energy, and the resources in order to get them to sell your product, which it is not a simple thing. You don't just send them a product and be like, here you go, do you want to carry us? It's much more involved than that. It takes resources. It also takes money in order to fund these big purchase orders. So now let's do the math. Say somebody or one of these big box retailers places an order and I'm going nationwide with this ball powder. Say they're ordering 100,000 units. Now all of a sudden I'm making $5 per unit. That's $500,000 with one order. All right, how many products am I going to have to sell .com, PeteMajor.com or Tiege.com in order to make that $500,000? A lot. But this isn't a perfect scenario. What happens if it doesn't sell? Exactly. That's where the problem arises. The other problem arises when you do something custom for these big box retailer, like these new packages that we did for Nordstrom Rack that will be effective and efficient, and we can reuse them if we go into some of these other stores like Nordstrom.com or Nordstrom or Walmart, like physical stores or like wherever, Costco, wherever. All right? The problem though, there are multiple problems. If you don't sell through, some of them can say, hey, we want to basically give it back. You're going to have to take back all this inventory. Now, like we don't sell those packages on our website. The good news is that we do have a very robust Amazon storefront. And so people are searching for Tiege Hanley. And so if we had to take some of these products back, we could basically put these kits on Amazon and sell through them. That's the good news. I've got a buddy though, Eric Banholtz. He has a company called Beard Brand. He basically was in Target. He had a special line custom made for Target because Target wanted specific pricing and his regular stuff was too expensive. So he basically had his products in Target for a long time, but then they said, you know what? You're done, you're out. You've got to take all this product back. Now, he's got this product that he can't actually sell on his website because it's a different product. It's also a different price point. And so that's a detrimental thing. If he was doing, $3-4 million a year in Target alone, if they all of a sudden say, F you, you're out, it hasn't sold well enough, then you're effed. Like your company, you build a company in order to facilitate and be able to manage this because it's also a customer resource issue. You've got a lot of things and a lot of moving parts, whether or not it's ordering inventory, whether or not it's packing it, whether or not it's shipping it. You've got customer service. You've got people that have to specifically work with these big box retailers, and typically they're going to do things a little bit differently and require you to have a different system, a different back end that's going to work with theirs. And so it's a clusterfuck, if I'm being honest, a lot of times. But this was the first time that we've successfully done a launch. We don't know how it's going to do. I know that at one store we sold out, but this is a work in progress. Our hope is that we're going to be rolling out to other stores, and we're going to be able to grow Tiege Hanley big time, and this is going to go to our top line and bottom line. And this is one of the things that we are trying to do as a company is grow our business profitably, but also be able and be in a position in a few years that we're attractive to somebody like a big company like Unilever, one of these other Procter & Gamble or somebody, in order to come and acquire possibly Tiege Hanley and take it to that next level. And so anyway, I just wanted to do this video because it is a first for me. It's super exciting. It's a little nerve-wracking, but more than that, it's amazing. And so I just wanted to share my experience and bring you along for everything you saw. And it was better than I hoped and expected, but now we just got to sell it. So if you're interested, if you got a Nordstrom rack and you want to help your boy out, make sure to go and grab some, or grab 2, or grab 10, or get a shopping cart full, and make every man in your life a handsome son of a bitch. Guys, thanks for watching. Remember, Tiege.com or Nordstrom Rack.